It's 22 years old, has appeared on almost every influential console you could care to name, and has spawned a mountain of shonky merchandise typically reserved for blockbuster movies. It is, of course, Street Fighter, Capcom's monumentally popular game series dedicated to the noble art of beating someone into unconsciousness before they do the same to you. But what is it about Street Fighter that captured our hearts and endured longer than, say, Matt LeBlanc's post-Friends acting career? After all, man has long revelled in unsanctioned bouts of bare fist fighting, and yet in all those years it's never provoked Kylie Minogue and Jean-Claude Van Damme to unite on screen and create pure cinematic magic.
I think the main reason why Street Fighter 2 is so popular is probably the characters. You've got an amazing selection, stretchy yoga man and weird electric mutant from the jungle, and the boss is an evil train driver. The characters in particular were just something that you didn't see in other fighting games out there. You had a Russian bear wrestler, you had a giant 6'6" Thai kickboxer with an eye patch and a massive scar up his chest.
Blanca with his rolling attack, Zangief with his spinning pile driver, Guile with his sonic boom, Ryu with his fireballs. And really it was a battle about how do I use my character's strength to counter the other character.
We all know that Street Fighter 2 is where it all really began, but let's spare a moment to pay our respects to the original Street Fighter, released in 1987. After all, if this rather clunky, subtlety-free beat-em-up, notable only for its novelty pressure-sensitive buttons, had never existed, then there's a chance that nobody would have thought, hey, remember that rather clunky, subtlety-free beat-em-up with the funny buttons we did? Why don't we do that again, only this time it'll change the face of competitive gaming and inspire hundreds of copycat games of varying degrees of quality.
You've got a lot to learn before you beat me. Try
And try again Capcom did. Soon after its 1991 release, Street Fighter 2 The World Warrior rapidly became a mainstay in arcades, entrancing players with deep, nuanced combat, instantly iconic characters and rewarding special moves, and causing many parents to part with their spare chains for a bit of quiet.
I don't remember my first Dragon Punch, but I do remember trying to do a spinning pile driver, and it was a real pain on the thumb.
I was actually really terrible at Dragon Punches. I used to get them mixed up with the Hadouken, so I'd be trying to do one and I'd end up doing the other, and that still happens from time to time, but if it connects, I pretend I meant to do that.
Around the playground at school, everyone had been saying, oh, can you do a Dragon Punch? And I was like, yeah, Dragon Punch, easy. Do them all the time, it's the only move I use. And so we used to go around to my friend Michael Preston's house, who actually owned the game, no one else did. And I knew what the correct button input for the Dragon Punch was, I just never actually successfully pulled one off. And so I picked up the pad, put it in, and I pulled it off, and it was the first time I'd done a Dragon Punch. Everyone was very impressed.
As multiplayer experiences went, it was unrivaled at the time, although Jeff Cape's Conquer Challenge fought a very brave fight. And soon Street Fighter 2 machines the world over were literally exploding due to the amount of money being pumped into them. Rather than do the responsible thing and withdraw the coin-ups from the market, Capcom instead chose to capitalise on the phenomenal popularity of the resurrected franchise, releasing 4 updates with increasingly unwieldy titles. 1994's Super Street Fighter 2 X Grandmaster Challenge prompted what is now referred to as the Great Fake Street Fighter title avalanche of 1994, where games journalists lost their minds and, in many cases, jobs, attempting to outdo each other with hilariously outlandish spoofs on Street Fighter update names. Dave Cobbler's editor of Nasty Devices magazine is widely regarded as the originator of this fad thanks to his line, "War over next, Ultra Mega Street Fighter 2X Hyper Smash 'em Up, Hovis Wholemeal Edition," during a particularly uninspired editorial in issue 75. During this time, Street Fighter 2 had appeared in various guises on the biggest consoles of the generation, most notably the Turbo Express and 3DO, and Street Fighter 2 pinball machines, comics, motion rides, tabletop RPGs, albums, cartoon series, and of course, that movie, all surfaced in a bid to squeeze more wonderful milk from the golden cash cow.
I noticed that they're releasing these 18-inch statues of popular characters. The Vega one's £150 and the Cammy one's £200. I like Cammy's bottom as much as the next man, but that's a 50 quid markup.
But I do have an Irish friend of mine who shall remain nameless, and I remember he went to a Street Fighter 4 tournament at MCM Expo before he was going on holiday to Ireland. And he went there with an empty bag, won 10 Street Fighter 4 Chun-Li t-shirts, stuffed them in his bag and went on holiday to Ireland wearing nothing but those t-shirts.
Never once for convention, Capcom seemed intent on holding back on the logical, bona fide third installment for as long as was bearable. And then made us wait another year on top of that. The intervening 2 years were a mixed blessing. On one side, let's call it the side of all that is good and right, You had Street Fighter 2 prequel Street Fighter Alpha and Alpha 2, Zero to our Japanese friends, and the hugely improbable yet enjoyably OTT crossover brawls of X-Men vs Street Fighter. The other side, well, more a dark, musty corner with a leaky ceiling, is where the game of Street Fighter the movie and unfortunate 3D outing Street Fighter EX lurk.
Favourite spin-off, I'd say probably something from the Marvel vs Capcom series. I really liked the kind of obscure Capcom characters that showed up in that.
I like Street Fighter the movie, the game, which was an absolute atrocity, blasphemy against the Street Fighter name.
Oh, definitely Capcom vs SNK 2. Just because of the sheer amount of characters in that, the variety and the different playing styles. And people still play it today, it's a great game.